Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of How Did This Get Booked? I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning, and I'm a veteran of the professional wrestling business for over a decade, and I've held every single job except selling popcorn. I'm joined, as always, by a man who is watching me like a hawk during my intros, because apparently I've been fucking them up recently.
Everyone.
Zane, how are you doing?
Enchanté.
I don't even give you a last name. I just said Zane.
Everybody knows. If you don't know my fucking last name by this point, people listening, fuck you doing?
If you don't love me at my worst, you can't have me at my best. That's
right. If you don't know me at my Riley, you can't have me at my singular name.
Absolutely. But we do need to hurry up and get into it because I have a lot of stuff to discuss. We've got even more next week.
Fuck you. Man.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for next week's episode.
45 minutes of just me cussing you out? Yeah. Can't wait. So you shit person.
But let's not wait 45 minutes to bring in our non-wrestling fan who is wearing a wrestling t-shirt. So already
we fucked up.
Already we fucked up. Comedian Ben Stacy. Ben, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you guys?
I appreciate the wave
Fantastic.
on a podcast.
Yes,
I appreciate the high.
And the second wave.
The high wave. Not even like a low wave. That was a high above your head waving to everybody that you are here. Ben Stacy, I ask everybody, as I always do, are you a wrestling fan? And if you're not a wrestling fan, some people try and lie to me like, oh, I'm a big wrestling fan. I'm like, oh, well, I can't use you. I'm like, what? Well, not really. So
I just want this goddamn podcast.
I just want to get on this podcast because we are the most in-demand podcasts in podcasting world when it comes to third-party watches. So Zane, Ben, I don't care who answers. Whatever. I got through the fucking intro with no fucking problem, so go fuck yourself. Ben, what is your experience? What are some of your touchstones on professional wrestling? Like, how has it interacted in your life? You said you like most people that we get on here, were a fan for a short period of time, but then you drifted away. So I want to know what caused you to be a fan, what do you remember, and why you just faded off into the ether.
Well, my main thing... Not a huge fan, but I watched in brief periods when I would be watched by certain babysitters. They're like kids would watch it, but I always enjoyed the theatrics of it.
What era are we talking about here?
We're talking
like who do you remember? What wrestlers do you remember?
I remember The Rock, of course. I do remember Sting. Who else in that period? Goldberg, Stone Cold Steve Austin, those type.
So it's all
badasses.
It's all a blur. It's all just washed over. All the top guys washed over you. Who is probably the most obscure name that you that sticks out in your mind, if any?
I don't really have any.
Okay, so you just like I saw him on TV Guide at one point in time. Okay, yeah. So you're the most general of people. So you're absolutely qualified. I was giving you a hard time about the T-shirt, but I'm back in on you now.
I wish all I think I know about wrestling is I bought this shirt today before I came here. I wish that was the answer.
Yeah. I've actually had this for a while. I'm retiring it today. So.
Oh, Jesus. Going to leave it in the middle of the ring.
Just for those who don't know, you're wearing a Hulkamania t-shirt, but it looks like a Hulkamania t-shirt you buy outside of the arena from a street vendor.
Like you printed it on a computer and like ironed it on.
Yeah. Tell me about this Hulkamania t-shirt, because I also love how the letters Hulkamania are like basically like maybe an inch tall.
Yeah. We're not shit on the shirt.
They're the most unaggressive Hulkamania of all time. So please tell me about this shirt.
Well, I just found this shirt in a thrift store, and I was just like, yeah, that's basically it.
I love it.
See, I've narrowed it down.
I'm a hipster douchebag to the max. So
okay, all right. Well, and that's sometimes what I learned. Sometimes hipsters aren't into the pro wrestling. No, it's hippies. Hippies aren't into pro wrestling. Hipsters are. So obviously, you're trying to score some hipster points with a T-shirt. But you just watch with your babysitters.
Basically, yes.
They turn it on because they had to deal with your dumb ass for however long.
Yeah, and their own kids too.
Oh, okay. All right. So basically, it just washed over you, meant nothing. Why do you? What about it did not pique your interest? And you can be honest. Please, I'm looking more for honesty. Don't be like, well, I'm locked in a room with two professional wrestlers. I need to be respectful.
Yeah. We'll shit on it before
fuck
you.
us,
yeah.
And fuck anybody outside this room, and fuck everybody in this room. This is about the Man in Cave is all about talking shit, and we'll deal with the consequences later. So Go ahead.
It always just came up as pretty gay.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be the answer. I knew that was going to be it.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Right on.
That's all.
Just a bunch of sweaty dudes pinning each other down in their undies.
Okay.
That's how I described it to my dad.
I knew you were homophobic. Good. I wanted to know that, and you will deal with the consequences when you leave this room. So you're a hate monger.
Oh, damn.
Have fun with that. Love wins in my world, and as we know, the revolt, love always wins.
Doesn't sell a whole lot of t-shirts, though.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. But speaking of t-shirts, we have a lot of people that have been leaving reviews, and as always, guys, thank you so much for all the people that have left reviews on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. We've put this challenge out for quite some time. I mean, it almost feels like 2 years now that I said if you leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher. I mean, so long ago it was iTunes. Now it's Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Like, that's how long we've been doing this. If you leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher and then DM me your mailing address and your shirt size, I will get you a free How Did This Get Booked t-shirt out to you, and I will say your name. If you are the most recent podcast, I will say it every single week or whatever it occurs when we are recording this episode, because sometimes between whatever.
It will at least be 2 times in a row, because that's just how we do things now.
Exactly. We do it 2 times in a row, so you'll be set at least 2 weeks in a row. So, and we've had some good ones that have come up recently. It's been a little bit kind of a dry spell when it comes to reviews. So please get out there and leave reviews. At the Apple Podcast, sitting on top are one of our more recent ones. Was I think it's Mickle sisters. I think I said the Michelle sisters or Michael sisters, but I think it might be the Mickle sisters. They were the most recent reviews until Nick Olessa from 10 Pod got on and left a review which consisted of the word "what" copy and pasted 100 times. 5 stars.
5 stars.
So what I'm saying is, guys, I owe Nicholas, a friend of mine who I do a podcast with, who I do a shit ton for him. I owe him a How Did This Get Booked t-shirt just by doing copy and pasting the word "what" over and over and over and over again. You can do the same by you can put words in a box. It doesn't make a difference. You could just say, "How Did This Get Booked" is okay, and then leave 5 stars, which would be very conflicting because we're not even great. We would just be okay. So you can just put literally 4 words, 5 words. In the time that it's taken for me to explain the parameters of you getting a free How Did This Get Booked t-shirt, you could have left at least 20 reviews. 15 reviews. So just get on and do it. It really helps out for Apple Podcasts, but I've also laid down that gauntlet for Stitcher, and Gabriel Kidd is still sitting on top of the poll there. So it'll be Nicolessa and Gabriel Kidd until somebody dethrones them in a month, because they will be the same names I will say on next week's episode because we're recording them back to back. But also, too, big thank you to a bunch of people that have been every time on social media. They like everything that we do, at least on my Instagram. I don't know if you have some people that you want to shout out to, but Jesse Job and Instagram, Twitter, everything I post up about the show or anything I've got from my shows, always liking it. Also, big thank you to Ray. Saw her this past weekend. Also to Mills Revival. Also saw them this weekend. Also to Vampire Coffee House, always liking everything. Jacob Russell's always liking something on Twitter. Everything I post about How Did This Get Booked or any other shows that I have. Also, big thank you to Franny on Instagram as well. Just about everything I put up there, she likes as well. So I don't know if there's any
Johnny-isms for that real rad. Did the little card drawings of us.
Yes. Thank you so much, Johnny.
We autographed those, sent those back.
Yes, and I really appreciate my copy of my card.
Yeah, I hear someone got a copy of their own card.
Oh yeah, it's already sitting on my shelf. It's sitting up there proudly next to my Cyclops figure that I got from Bobby T. So
I would tell you where mine's sitting, but I didn't get one.
Oh, okay. And that's a shame.
Yeah. And last time I chastised him for not putting me on the podcast of his, and then he messaged me and said, "Oh, you can always be on it," and I declined. I haven't declined. This is me declining now, just because I'm hurt.
Okay. Well, he's a good man to me.
He is a good man.
He's a good man to me, and a very talented artist.
Indeed. Caleb didn't get one. Caleb can suck a dick.
Oh, he could definitely suck one.
Fuck Caleb.
But speaking of talented artists.
What? Are we getting ready to talk about something I didn't watch?
We are most certainly not what we talk about. That is not the segue to that. as most of you know, through the listing history of How Did This Get Booked.
Ugh.
Don't groan. I'm very proud of our shows. Do you view this podcast as quote unquote content?
This particular one.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about this. Basically, every October, the goal on this podcast is to discuss a Halloween Havoc.
Yes.
Around Halloween.
Yes.
Because they're
it'd be real weird around Christmas.
Yes. WCW, of course, is wrought with fantastic shows for us to discuss on this podcast. Mm-hmm. It's always right up our alley. And usually what I do is I'll look up online for, what are the worst pay-per-views. Mm-hmm. And they'll put Halloween Havoc 1998, that Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior fucking shit match. And then the pay-per-view ran up. Blah, blah, blah. But then the rest of the show's fantastic.
Yeah.
They'll put bad pay-per-views on lists like that because of just some
one match
that had an awful book finish.
Well, it really wasn't that bad. Just what else did you expect from it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Stuff like that. The things that I don't know what they were thinking. But this show that we're discussing today, WCW Halloween Havoc, does not exist on any of those lists. All of the lists that I've seen, from What Culture to BuzzFeed, there is no discussion of how bad WCW Halloween Havoc 2000 is. This is one of the worst things that we have ever had to watch for this show. And keep in mind, we did Heroes of Wrestling episode 3.
We did November to Remember.
This show that we are discussing today is worse than all of those.
Oh, of course.
By far. And I got to send a big thank you, because we gave a lot of big thank yous to some people that have, the reviews and social media heroes. Big thank you to Bob Satin, I believe is his name. Mm-hmm. Satin. Yeah, he was a guy wearing the 10-bell pod at Revolver. He came up. He was the one who suggested this show. And he just said Halloween Havoc 2000. He goes, you should do that. I'm like, great, we're looking for a Halloween Havoc show. And I was like, okay, well, this will be what it'll be. There'll be 2 or 3 good matches on here. I'm still looking for 2 or 3 good matches. I didn't find it. Wasn't there. Fucking so, Big Bob, kudos, man. You have got your finger on the pulse. I'm going to start listening to your recommendations.
Yeah, please. You tell us what to do.
You tell us what to do, because this is a doozy of a show.
We're looking for a Thanksgiving one, Bob.
Yes, we're looking for a Survivor Series. Bob, let us know what Survivor Series we should discuss. But before we discuss Halloween Havoc, let's give some of the particulars about the show and some comparative information. Oh. Just to put it in kind of a time capsule that I found kind of interesting. But as I said before, the show that we are discussing is WCW Halloween Havoc 2000, which took place at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Paradise, Nevada, which of course is Las Vegas, Nevada. Took place October 29th, the year of our Lord 2000. Attendance for the show was 7,582 people with a buy rate of 70,000. Now, to put this in context, Double or Nothing, which just happened this year, had an attendance of 11,000. So that's 4,000 more. And then had a buy rate in a time when pay-per-views are reportedly dead.
Yes.
Had 109,000 to anywhere to 111,000. Oh. So 30 to 40,000 more buys. Mm-hmm. In an era where pay-per-views are reportedly dead.
Yes.
To compare this against other Halloween Havocs, like I said, the attendance was around 7,582. The year prior, in the same building, was 8,464. The year before, in the same building, 10,000. And then I believe the year before that, also in the same building, 12,000. So we are slowly climbing down the ladder here.
Yeah.
Also to the next.
Feels like a plummet.
There's definitely a decline. There's definitely a decline for sure. We have 5,000 less people here as opposed to 3 or 4 years ago. The next pay-per-view domestically was Fall Brawl, and that drew an attendance of 8,000. But actually, there was a Germany-only pay-per-view that occurred in November of 2000 that had an attendance of 3,800 people. So the tagline for the show, which you might find interesting, the tagline for this show was the future of professional wrestling is here and now, which I think is ironic because this is the last Halloween Havoc. Yeah. This isn't even the future of Halloween Havoc, let alone professional wrestling. Yep. So,
one day you woke up, there were no more Halloween Havocs.
No more.
It was that day.
It was this particular day. And on the particular day that I saw this show is when I discovered all the changes to the WWE Network. Where they don't have a watch list anymore.
Nope.
I'm pretty upset about that. And you might be saying, well, Jake, you work for highspots.com and Highspots Wrestling Network. They don't have a watch list. Yeah, I'm pretty fucking pissed about that too. So that's why I like Netflix. I mean, heaven forbid you do anything like Netflix. They're not making any money on streaming services, so let's be different than them. But I digress.
Tell us how you really feel.
I have in my notes, go on a big rant about the WWE Network, but I just don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Also, too, we're 15 minutes in, and we have a long way to go.
And we're like 35 minutes late starting, so...
But don't worry. From what I hear, Ben only watched 3/4 of the show.
Good.
So
yeah.
Don't worry. I think I only paid attention to the last quarter, so together we might have this figured out. I watched it all.
Okay. I know some people are like, did Ben just leave all of a sudden? Because you've been talking a lot.
Minute, yeah.
Welcome to How Did This Get Booked,
You got to
Ben,
throw words in there when you can, Ben.
You basically, when you're on How Did This Get Booked, you get to see Jake Manning talk with a wall of Cyclops comics behind him and just talk about wrestling and attendance. That's basically what this...
Honestly, this is the most excited I've ever seen you, so...
You get it. Welcome to How Did This Get Booked. This is like an InfoWars, but like not as wild.
No.
I mean, I don't know. If you listen to the episode where we just edited something out, it got a little InfoWar-y, but...
Oh, it did. It got a little InfoWar. I'm better now.
Yeah,
I'm better now.
It's in a better place.
I'm in a better place, but let's go to a worse place, and that is Halloween Havoc 2000 with intro and pyro. But we're going to kick things off with match number 1, a WCW Tag Team title match with the Boogie Nights. Which consists of a bald Alex Wright and Disco Inferno taking on Mark Jindrak and Sean O'Hare taking on the Filthy Animals, which consists of Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio with no mask on. Ben, what are your thoughts on this opening contest of Halloween Havoc 2000?
This opening one, good lord. I was actually surprised at the nimbleness of like all the wrestlers. Like I said, I'm not a big wrestling fan.
Because it's gay.
Yes.
But you just used the word nimble.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now, you got to remember, I was a young guy.
And leave it to Ben to use gay as a derogatory term. You know, like that's a bad thing in life.
No, we're good, man.
Oh, no, it's not bad at all.
Bring it back.
Oh, now you're stepping back.
So anyway, about this opening bout. This nimbly bout.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm not watching wrestling. I'll turn on some Will and Grace.
Yeah, I was surprised at the nimbleness of that first match. Like I said, I'm not a big wrestling fan overall, because the overall choreography, them just like flipping around in the air, and
the undertones of homosexuality. We get it, Ben.
I love the cock. What can I say?
Don't we all?
Sounds like you're saying something different. But more about this match.
I just loved. I noticed Sean O'Hare was having a little difficulty during it because at one point I couldn't tell that he kind of fucked up his knee. And he's just kind of limping around the ring. Second, I don't remember, honestly, too much about that first one. It's kind of forgettable.
That's whole goddamn thing is forgettable.
Okay, what are your thoughts then?
I love Billy Kidman. I am not a fan of devil-horned Rey Mysterio with no mask. But this was the time we was always having weird hair. I've just never been a fan of no mask Rey Mysterio.
You and me both, buddy.
It's just, it doesn't... though I do like demonic-looking Alex Wright, who's still trying to dance.
See, it's so... This is I think this is like an example of why if you're going to do anything to change your look, or even if the office tells you, like, hey, we want you to cut your hair, you should be hesitant. Because I feel like... Because right before this, he did the whole like Alex Wright Berlin thing, and he had this nice, fantastic like Caleb Connolly looking hair.
Yeah, I did the good dance. And
the little dance, but then like, well, we want you to be more serious, and like, okay, well, I'll shave all this off. But then like, nah, well, we really need somebody to team with Disco and to come out and dance, and he's like, okay,
fuck
fuck. But you guys told me to do this.
I sold my jacket.
Yeah, I fucking don't have the blue trunks anymore that fucking Jim Barnett loves so much. I don't have those anymore. So, it's a perfect example of that. I love when Ray went for a Bronco Buster and they just put the boot up and he fucking flew off. I've never seen a man just bounce off another man with his cock. Like, that's just from the cock was the launching point.
Which is just basically the way you describe Rey Mysterio in WCW. He's always bouncing off things with his cock.
Pretty much. It got really fucking fast and furious to the end. Like
I had no clue what was going on. I don't know who was legal. We're all at one. So were 3 people legal at one point?
I think
each member of a team had a legal person.
I think that's how it goes. It always has to be a 3-way.
Okay.
It always, which is an interesting concept. And I think if you have people who are intelligent enough to work that, because normally when you have a 3-way tag, only 2 people in the ring at a time.
Mm-hmm.
See, and that's the funny part too. Is like we're like 5 years removed from people finding out about 3-way matches or 3-way dances, and people are like, "What? 3 people in a match? What the fuck are you talking about?" And we're only 2 years away from people going, "Ah, fuck, we got an odd number of people. Ah, make it a 3-way."
Yeah.
Like we're not that far from it, but right here they're just like, what do we do with 3 teams? Like, we watched Bash at the Beach, and Nasty Boys, Harlem Heat, and the Blue Bloods, they looked utterly confused and like, we don't know how this should go. But by this time, it should be kind of like very much in the heyday of 3-ways, and they should kind of have an idea, but there's still, if you're going to do it this way, I feel like if you had some really good people that know some solid psychology, this might come off a little bit better. But the way they're doing this and this mad dash to get all the spots in the world is like, I just wrote down slow down.
Yeah. We only had 10 minutes, man.
Yeah, well, they got it all in.
Yep. 15 minutes of it in.
I fucking loved the fucking Beal into the ring from the floor. That was fucking incredible. I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I like Conan on commentary used the term natural born crackers. I think that should be used.
We need that.
We need more of that in our life.
We just need more. We need more Conan on commentary and less fucking Stevie Ray.
Oh, do not besmirch the fucking good goddamn name of Stevie Ray, because suckers gots to know. And they fucking know that this is a bad pay-per-view now. So, and not because of Stevie Ray's commentary.
And the other guy, and Mike, whatever. I fucking hated him too.
Mark Madden? Mark
Madden's
Madden's the fucking worst. Worst. Like, we're going to get into him here in a little bit. But anything else about match number 1 before we move on?
Poor Alex Wright. Poor Billy Kidman.
I think Billy Kidman's doing okay.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, this is... We'll get into why Billy Kidman's doing okay here in a little bit. That match is coming. But apparently just match 2 just comes out.
And just starts, right? Just begins.
Like the Wall, I think the Wall makes a save, and then fucking Wall's just there. And like, he's like, I better not go all the way in the back, so I got to be out here anyways. Let's just set up this hardcore match. Because match number 2 is a hardcore title match between Sergeant AWOL and Reno, who got no pop considering he was from Reno, Nevada. I guess there's a lot of heat from Las Vegas and Reno. Also, too, apparently Reno cannot go to Australia, even though he wrestled for an Australian promotion later on. Don't fucking know that. That's the story. Ben, what's your story on match number 2?
Match number 2, AWOL versus Reno. I loved that the small amount of time they had to fight. They had plenty of time to set up tables just to like smash them, but I love that they took it backstage and ended up going into like another match just out of nowhere.
Yeah, did you notice when they were swinging the computers around? And the
I love that. It was like a cardboard like monitor or something.
Yeah, that was clearly it stayed on and no cables were attached. As a guy that's had to rearrange his office recently, I can't tell you how many times I've bitched about fucking monitor cables on a computer. Like, it's been the most frustrating thing in the last couple weeks for me.
They're just following the IKEA method where they just have fake TVs everywhere.
Yes.
I love that this is a hardcore match, but there's about to be more shit later on that's way more hardcore than this. Like, this match is a hardcore match, but there's a match that gets color later. There's a match that fights into the crowd and up. There's a couple matches that fight up and into the crowd.
Like, I don't think they have DQs anymore. Like, they just let everything fucking go in WCW.
So then what's the point of this being a hardcore match? It's not the last table broken.
But I will say this though, it is probably one of the more dangerous ones, because what other match do you see somebody swinging around a 2000-ish laptop? Like, that's attempted murder.
That's a brick.
That's attempted murder. You don't fucking do that. And, of course, very 2000s-ish. One table is not enough. Let's put them through 2 fucking tables.
All these tables.
Because we are extremes with fucking no E and double Z's at the
2
end.
Z's.
And, of course, the finish to the most unimpressive move of the entire match. Just because.
Why not?
Why not? And I just feel like...
Might as well be a fucking roll-up.
I've heard good things about AWOL. And I haven't heard anything about Reno. But I have heard some bad things about AWOL. Like, it all depends on who you talk to.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like these 2 guys would be guys that would be on the indie circuit. That'd be like good brother, like, and pull like fucking ribs to make themselves feel cool in the locker room, and be like, no man, this is how we fucking, like, I think
that's how we did in WCW.
Yeah, like guys who would just be in the locker room at an indie show, and then they would go out and they would fuck something up in the building, and we wouldn't be able to run the building anymore, and they'd just be like, whoa, what the fuck, like, they just seem like those type of guys. But I don't know if I'm pegging them wrong or not. So
I think you're dead on.
I think I'm dead on. I had a lot. I was watching this late at night, and I had a much longer description, and then I'm like, no, we might not have time for that.
Here in the middle, like, we're not really at the middle, but like, here is where it begins. You ever just been yelled at by someone, and you're like, you're about to get yelled at, and you have no way to get away from getting yelled at, and it's just like they're barking at you, but you're not really retaining anything. It's just words being thrown at you.
Yeah,
that's the next couple matches to me. It's like this whole middle portion. I'm just staring at it in like just an agaped look, like, what the fuck is happening?
Well, speaking of what the fuck is happening, after this hardcore match, they cut to a promo where Palumbo and Stasiak, who were just out by the ring, are now in the back wearing T-shirts.
Yeah.
Like, they were just by the ring.
They could put on the Corton gear.
But the thing is, like, they cut right to it. Like there was, like, 16 frames separation between them being by ringside to them now being in the back wearing T-shirts standing around Mike Sanders. And
not even sweating.
Not even sweating. And I like the save of WCW. They're like, we'll just put up a graphic that says earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Like, they're just fucking like...
Fuck.
What the fuck? Like, the continuity fucking error alone on this one is fucking ridiculous.
We'll fucking get there. Just go.
Just what the fuck. And then what the fuck again? They showed a clip of Goldberg just running headfirst into a fucking pole.
We gotta get right. We gotta make sure that he's ready. We gotta have a reason for the athletic commission to be there.
I can't.
No.
You know what? This was the moment where, like, see, when somebody's yelling at me, I can't disassociate like you.
Yeah.
I'll obtain it. I'll let all the words hit me. But the thing is, though, there'll be certain lines that hit me in a certain way. Like, wait a minute, but that don't even make sense.
Hold on now.
Hold on now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna want to, like, butt in and argue a point that I feel is completely unfactual. And I know I shouldn't do that.
It's only going to make this go longer.
It's going to make this go longer. But I cannot let you walk through life with this assumption. That's what this pay-per-view was doing. But much like in arguments like that, this pay-per-view was not listening. I continued on with the fucking crazy. With, most specifically, match number 3, which I don't even think was supposed to be on the fucking show.
Nope.
Because it was Chuck Palumbo, Sean Stasiak, and versus the MIA, Chavo Guerrero and Lash LaRue, who were just out there. They went to the back. They cut this promo, which was filmed earlier in the day, quote unquote, showed this Goldberg promo, and then sent those guys back out there to have this match.
All brought to you by PlayStation.
This match has to be impromptu. You're a booker, right, Zane? Like this whole thing feels like they're like, you guys go back out there and do a match. We're short on time.
Oh fuck.
Which is funny because the problem with Halloween Havoc 1998 is they had too much time.
Way too much. Well, they totally made up for it, and I don't appreciate you calling them Lash and Chavo. I prefer the real wrestling names, Captain Cajun and Lieutenant Loco.
Oh, you probably prefer that fucking yakety sax fucking music in the WWE network for.
I love how off color the WCW was at this time.
That's fucking
way
MIA's,
better than all this.
Yeah, that's fucking MIA's fucking song on the WWE network. I mean, I get it. They ripped off War for the song. But Misfits in action! So much better. So already, I'm more jacked to fucking see a match after that. Were you jacked about match number 3 at all, Ben?
I didn't even know it was coming. It just came out of nowhere.
Well, don't worry, Chavo and Lash didn't either. So, and they had to carry these big dumb motherfuckers for the match.
I think Chavo's one of the best. Thank God Chavo's one of the best wrestlers alive.
Oh fuck! Like Chavo, I don't think is the worker he was when we saw him in WWE 2004 Great American Bash. Like, that's a great fucking Chavo match.
Yeah.
And fucking Chavo got even better after that. This is still very early Chavo, but here's fucking Exhibit C on why he's so fucking good. He's the one piecing this whole thing together because, like, they're clearly on the fucking fly, and he tags out the Lash, who's coming in to make a big baby comeback that just shuts down after fucking 20 seconds.
The guys don't know how to fucking take it.
Yeah, and they get out there, they do their finish, but and fucking Chavo gets the coldest fucking tag of all time to get to the finish. And yeah, Lash doing a split to duck a super kick, and it's just one of those things where I feel like Chavo was trying to come up with a finish, and then Lash is like, I got an idea. And Chavo knew better. Chavo's like, but yet, much like calling a match, it's like moving a chess pieces around. Like, it's a chess game. So Chavo probably realized, well,
that's all he's going to fucking get right. Might as well.
It's the only thing that that's not crazy enough for me to allow him to do. So I'll allow him to do this, and that way later on when I tell him to do everything, he doesn't bitch at me and tell him that I didn't allow him to do anything. So I'll just let him do this.
Let him do his thing.
Let him do this, and then I'm like, all right, I'm not dying on this hill. and that's the finish of this match. But then that gets into match number 4.
Match number 4
gets us into a promo first. A real dumb promo.
Yeah, for sure. But match number 4 consists of Shane Douglas and Tori Wilson taking on Conan and Tigress. How Go Hawks was fucking Tori Wilson at this time?
He's always Cyclones, man.
Fuck it. Like this, like, don't feel bad for Billy Kidman.
No, I know.
See, he is knocking the bottom out of this, and if he is not, don't worry, fucking Ray with his pogo stick dick will.
Yep.
Because holy shit.
Now, before this, Conan's trying to find a tag partner, right?
No. Conan is...
Because they're both like, oh, I've already wrestled.
No, because Conan's hurt, remember? Because the Filthy Animals, he was doing commentary, and all he did was just slide in, and then Jindrak and O'Hare just stomped his back, and he goes, I'm too hurt! Even though all these guys had did all this stuff, like Billy Kidman had took a Beal into the ring, and Ray got straight up like fucking big booted to the fucking nuts midair. They're fine. They could continue the match, but Conan just slid in and took like a couple stomps to the back, and he was done.
Yeah.
They weren't for sure if he was going to make it in or not, but Tigress... She's going to come in after Shane Douglas says the 2 most offensive words in all the English language, which is not as pro wrestling is gay, as we all know. That is the second most offensive thing in all of the English language. But the most offensive words in all of the English language is you people.
Yeah. That's how you get that real heat.
To get that real heat.
People.
And then Tigress comes out and refers to Tori Wilson as a hoochie mama. Which, God, I miss fucking early 2000s, late 90s, when women would just call each other hoochie mamas. Like, I feel like we need to bring back hoochie mama so bad. Like, that's an insult. Like, I'm going to start insulting people.
What I'm talking about is the women's revolution, but hoochie mama promos.
I want fucking women calling each other hoochie mamas. Mm-hmm. I fucking miss that.
Nia Jax just hoochie mamaing it up.
Oh, there you go. Fucking Natalia, you hoochie mama.
You skank. All the good 90s.
All the good early 2000s. Conan comes out who is hurt, but he can still do a rolling clothesline and then just fall down.
Yeah, you know.
This is, I think, what they were trying to do. They were trying to recreate Shane and Francine versus Dreamer and Beulah, like those really great mixed tag matches they used to do in ECW, and this most certainly is not it. But we definitely get to see Shane punch a woman right in the face.
Hey, you know? Heat, brother.
Equality.
Yeah, that's the third most offensive thing you can do in wrestling.
That's actually that actually was something that impressed me. Like,
punching a woman in the face?
Hell yeah.
Yes! Equal opportunity in sports, man.
You are problematic there, Fred.
Very much so, yes. But, you know, it's the first time I've seen where there's not... It's the only sport I've ever seen where there's not a men and women's division exclusively. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, they're both just beating the shit out of each other.
My favorite part is Tigress just for some reason chewing on Shane Douglas's elbow. That is an offensive move.
I missed that. I missed that.
Never seen that before, but that is a thing that occurred. I was like, all right, cool.
Okay.
It was so funny.
All right.
So funny.
I must give an appreciation to both these women because they are wearing platform heels and wrestling in that. I think most people want to shit on the divas, generation of female wrestlers. No, those women. Those women, I will use the word woman with as much respect as possible because they had to fucking wrestle and platform fucking heels.
And if you're mad about it, you just got weak ankles.
Yeah. Fucking kudos to you. You do not get enough respect from me for doing something like that. That is for sure. Of course, Mark Madden.
Fuck him.
Oh, I'll give you a reason to. During this match, apparently, I believe there's some sort of strike exchange with one of the ladies. I don't know if it was Tori Wilson or Tigress. They were... Oh, it was Tori Wilson because they're saying that she had a background in boxing. To which Mark Madden, after we've already given credibility to a woman and her combat skills, Mark Madden said, love seeing her wrestle, but I would love to see her box.
Oh my God.
Mark Madden, ladies and gentlemen.
The thoughts and opinions of Mark Madden and Ben Stacy do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of Zane Riley and Jake Manning. Let's make that very clear. Before we continue on, I'm still not done with this match.
Fucking.
I have this. The entire page is on this particular match. Like, it falls apart fast. There's like one point in time where all five, Charles Robinson included, the referee, they're all looking at each other. Like, what the fuck do we do next?
What happened?
All five of them are looking around like, what the fuck do we do? Where the fuck are we? How do we get out of here?
How did we get here?
There is a very distinct moment, and you'll know it when you see it.
How did you come to be here?
How did you come to arrive here? Which, by the way, small plug, Crime and Sports.
Yeah, big on it now.
If you like Small Town Murder, it's the same guys. Small Town Murder is more famous than Crime and Sports, but Crime and Sports is where it's at.
Yeah, Lenny Dykstra forever.
Yes, absolutely. But speaking of middle-aged silver-haired white men, we have a promo with David Flair with Mean Gene Okerlund to set up the DNA match.
Why is this a thing? What the fuck?
I love that. The whole wrestling aspect. It's just one big soap opera.
Yeah.
It's just the DNA test. Why is this part of a wrestling match?
First blood DNA test. It's on the Wikipedia. I'm looking at the Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they said it on the show.
And yes. Oh, and it's under stipulations. I know they said it on the show.
Did you not watch all of the show like
no,
Ben Stacy?
No, I did. But again, they put it in the annals of history because of the stupidness of it all.
Well, speaking of annals of history, on this promo, David Flair refers to Buff Bagwell. Buff Bagwell as a gigolo. Which we know he is now. Yep. So that means that David Flair is a fucking foreseer.
He does.
He is a psychic individual.
He was like, man, Dave, that's a good idea.
He is a fucking soothsayer. He sees into the future.
You'd think he'd be able to see this WCW thing not working out too well.
Oh, no, that's why he left. He's like, I'm out. I'm done.
Oh, fuck.
Dad, take care of your health. You know? And sign a prenup or two.
So we tell you to live your life.
I'm not going to tell you how to live your life, Dad. I know you're not going to listen to me anyways. But I got to go out and do this First Blood DNA match for match number 5, Buff Bagwell versus David Flair. Ben, what are your thoughts on this match?
Why DNA testing again? I'm just coming back to that. Really?
So it's for somebody's got a baby.
I was having
Stacy Keibler, I believe, has a baby.
Stacy Keibler. Yeah. I just like the premise of the match. Just built a drama around it. Yeah, the match itself, pretty fun. I don't know really how to.
I like how you were like pretty fun, but then you gave up on saying the word.
He realized he was like, you know what?
That is the most fun. That is the most WCW 2000 thing ever. We were gonna say this show is gonna be. Never mind.
You guys saw it.
I'm still just reeling back a little bit from the ridiculousness of why the match was happening.
Well, apparently this match, according to Mark Madden, is just as iconic as Magnum TA and Tully Blanchard.
Yeah.
Says that.
It's going to hold the same revere in the world of wrestling to come. Trust me, it's going to get its due diligence.
Absolutely. And then, of course, casually dressed Lex Luger comes out, turns on Buff Bagwell.
No reason.
And then,
and their excuse was, hey, he's just beating up everybody nowadays.
Yeah. And then Buff Bagwell pops in a blood capsule into his head.
Yeah.
Into his mouth.
Yep.
And that's how David gets.
So, David, this is weird. Like, it's the most anticlimactic finish ever. Because David's busted open. He's on the outside. Buff's up top. Ref's not seeing it. They make a big deal that Ref hasn't seen the blood. Dave rolls in. And then the ref just sees the blood. He's like, oh, never mind then.
Yeah, it's just like, I missed it the first time. I got it the second time. We're good.
Like, I thought we were going for like some weird fuck finish or something. No, we just, you get it.
And then we still get Buff's DNA.
Yeah.
As we all know that you can get very easily at cowboysandangels.com if you're curious.
So, do you know anything past this? Was he the father?
I don't know.
Okay, cool.
But in all of this shit, this is perfect because Vince Russo is guiding the ship at this time. Okay? But this is true Vince Russo fashion. Okay? So we've had all of this shit that doesn't make any fucking sense. But we have David going to the back to these doctors to give them the DNA. And keep in mind, the whole story is like, is Goldberg going to be here? Goldberg going to be here? Goldberg going to be here? So we follow David Flair to the back with the DNA to the doctors, and he hands it to the doctors. They exit stage left, enter stage right. Here comes Goldberg.
Dun, dun, dun.
Which is, and it kind of explains why the camera is back there, and it kind of all builds to the bigger part of the show. Like, I feel like that part, that staging, that moving around, that blocking, I think is ingenious, and I think this is the genius of Vince Russo, this right here. But you need somebody to tell him, all this other shit, fucking get rid of it.
Which leads me to believe that happened on accident, Jake. You're putting your beliefs in a thing.
I'm putting my belief that Vince Russo
cared about one sole, individual, only aspect of this 3-hour show.
That he can come up with 5% something good. 5%.
And he chose this camera angle.
Yes.
Okay.
This particular blocking of letting everybody in the arena know organically that Goldberg is in the building. And getting people excited for Goldberg.
And there are doctors there.
Yes.
That we're going to need to check him out.
Exactly. It all pieces together. See?
Jesus fucking Christ.
It's a slow build.
Fuck you both. It's not. It was an accident. It was an accident. Speaking of accidents.
Match number 6, which is a kickboxing match between Mike Sanders and Ernest the Cat Miller, who is just playing with Mike Sanders. And looks like the biggest fucking badass of all time. Like,
He is.
like, fucking Ernest the Cat Miller is the goddamn man.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the kickboxing match?
I actually liked that match. I liked how they were just kind of playing with each other. Playing around with each other on that one.
Because there's less homoeroticism? Is that
Not
why?
falling around on the ground?
Yeah.
Nah, I just...
Well, yeah, but...
I guess.
Stay true to your lord.
Old Ben Stacy, willing to give up on his words so quickly.
Fuck it, why not? I mean, I'm already in trouble here.
He gave up on watching the show early, gave up early on every question I've answered.
And knowing now what I know, if I knew then what I know now, I don't blame you. For the giving up part.
But I just love that it looked like... I just love that Sanders ended up becoming the commissioner at the end of the fight.
You seem like a Mike Sanders fan.
I just thought it was ridiculous. Like I said, I love the ridiculousness of the whole thing.
What a way to, like, award people promotions and whatnot. Like, oh, you know what? You can be the commissioner, you just gotta beat this guy. That should be how all things run.
You do know where I work, right?
So I'm thinking...
You do know how we settled arguments at high spots.
Michael has a weak fucking knee. You take that out, that's your baby.
Before that motherfucker... I distinctly remember an argument between Michael and Cedric. And... they
wanted to shoot wrestle for it.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like is the sky blue? It was something that you could look up, factually figure out. But Michael's like, tell you what, I'll fucking shoot wrestle you in the ring in the back to prove who's right. Like something you could have found out how somebody was easily right. But he decided, like, no. The way you resolve this argument is by shoot wrestling. And this is before the bad knee. And this is after he just gotten married. Like, few months, and he's wrestling around, and then he's like hitting Cedric.
Wait, it actually happened?
It fucking happened. It happened in the ring, and Michael was like going for he was slapping Cedric and then going for like shooting a single or whatever. And Cedric's like, "Oh, you're slapping me with your ring finger," and Michael goes, "Oh, you're a big baby about it." So Michael, freshly married, less than a year, took his ring off and threw it across the High Spots warehouse. If you've ever been in the High Spots warehouse before, you know how crowded and discombobulated it is to find a wedding ring after you just aimlessly threw it in the middle of a fucking haystack of wrestling merchandise. Finding it again would be next to impossible. But this motherfucker did not care. In the heat of battle, he just threw it and did not give a fuck about his vows just so he could fuck up an employee who would end up working for WWE eventually.
So, who won?
I don't remember.
Oh, fuck.
I was looking for Michael's wedding ring because I'm like,
Fuck.
He's probably going to need this.
Fuck.
I don't remember exactly who.
I
feel like if I said Cedric, Michael would cancel this podcast, even though he has nothing to do with this podcast whatsoever.
I think Sanders won because he was promoted and commissioner.
I wasn't talking about that fight, but
No,
thank you for chiming in.
different mic.
Different mic.
Different Mike.
Oh, we're talking about a different fight.
My bad.
But no, you're right. I mean, Mike Saunders won, which is good on you for watching that
was actually what we're supposed to be talking about, not the anecdote that I just shared.
Which I will tell you my Mike Sanders anecdote. I forget what it was at a WrestleCon of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in some hotel room party. I believe it was you and I.
Okay.
I think it was the night it was the DX thing where we just like, hey, that's probably DX, and they hopped out of that, or NWO. They hopped out of that stretch, what looked like a
stretch bus.
Yeah, that armored car.
And I just kind of flashed it just in case my good buddy Kevin Nash was on.
Yeah. And I think we got back and we ended up at some little hotel room party that Nash was having. And Mike Saunders was there, and like I'm standing beside him, like in the back of the room, because I don't fucking belong here. And he's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" "Oh, how you doing?" He's Mike. "Oh, hey man, my name's Zane." And he just kind of looks at me for me. He goes, "Mike Saunders." Zane Riley. So I was commissioner for WCW for a while. Like, cool.
He was also.
And I'm fuck off now.
He was also cruiserweight champion. It's funny that you say the commissionership is your biggest title.
Yeah. So I was like, "All right, man, rock on. I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here. I'm gonna head out."
Should have been like, no wonder why they failed.
Yeah. What year?
Since Mike Sanders had to explain who he was, can either of you explain to me how, in a kickboxing fight where you're giving a 10 count, that you see somebody get knocked down at 30 seconds left, but when somebody administers a 10 count, they don't get to 10. Even though they were knocked down at 30 seconds, it takes you 30 seconds to count to 10. Anybody?
You got to make sure he's really down.
Okay. Because that happened twice during this match.
Yeah.
But only what happened once was the cat yelling, "Get the chain!" You can't hear. You can't hear it, and you don't even have to turn up your TV that loud.
Nope.
So just let you know that he yelled that. So yeah, those things. And then we get to Goldberg with the doctors and Chronic. And Chronic cuts a promo, and all of a sudden Bryan Adams, who is Hawaiian, sounds like a southern redneck. I don't know how that happened, but...
Hawaii South.
Hawaii South.
I thought that was an 80s singer, Bryan Adams.
Bryan Adams? Yeah.
Yep.
Do we?
Dynamite drop in, Ben.
Yeah.
His correspondence classes are really starting to pay off.
I love Bryan Adams. The Canadian singer.
The Canadian singer.
Hawaiian wrestler.
Another Hawaiian wrestler who got caught with a shitload of guns and drugs.
So
match number 7. That 70s guy, Mike Awesome, taking on Vampiro, which...
Go ahead and say it. Best fucking match on the goddamn card.
When I saw this match on the card, I knew what we were going to get to. Because I know you, Zane Riley, your deep love and affection for Mike Awesome.
Right on.
Now, I think you might be aware of my deep love and affection for Vampiro.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like our two favorite wrestlers are fighting each other.
Yes. Well, one of ours won and the other didn't.
Well, one of ours should have took a little better care of it.
Yeah, I was say one of ours is still going.
I mean, I'm saying that the fan that jumped out in the middle of the crowd took better care of. Took better care of another wrestler that was in this match. Yeah, so Mike Sanders doing kind of like the Jake Manning thing. Like, he's got a gimmick that's very over the top, the 70s guy, but like, I'm just going to get down to trunks.
Mike Awesome, but yeah, I get you.
Yeah. That's how I used to... I said Saunders. Awesome.
Yeah,
my apologies. Mike Awesome.
Sorry, Mike Awesome.
Sorry, Mike Awesome.
Looking at you in heaven right now.
I was actually looking
down.
I was looking straight at you.
Looking down, get down there, Mike Awesome.
But Mike Awesome doing the thing that I used to do when I was the Man Scout. I used to wear all the Boy Scout outfit and then take it all off and then just wear green trunks.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be a serious wrestler.
Of course.
That was the dumbest thing
Minus that part.
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing I ever done, and I realized I had to commit to a character.
Yeah.
Mike Awesome wasn't going to commit to character, nor should he commit to this character, but boy, did his hair look fantastic.
Oh my God, his hair looks so good.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you get that good hair?
I don't know.
You mean Mike Awesome with the good hair? Yeah, Mike Awesome with good hair was there.
With the good hair.
I love WCW Mike Awesome because they would just always give him shit gimmicks, like where he only liked fat chicks. That's still my favorite Mike Awesome because I see so much of myself in that.
Yeah. Well, I see so much of myself in Vampiro. As you can tell.
An oddly amount of kidnappings in Mexico?
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Just haven't been yet.
Just haven't been yet. That's why I have not been, because I know that I'm going to end up getting kidnapped in Mexico a shitload of times like Vampiro. As we said, a fan jumps out of the crowd and starts headbutting Mike Awesome, and he has none of that. Nor does he have anything to do with Vampiro's safety during this match.
And God forbid that motherfucker sell a bit. Vampiro's in the crowd, like hitting him with that cane and doing that other shit, and he's just kind of like laid up.
Yeah.
Which good on Vampiro for taking care of him. I don't know. He didn't catch him a whole bunch on that dive, but of course he probably didn't deserve that anyway.
And I'm not for sure if this was Falls Count Anywhere. Was it just like, no, this is just a match, or this is like WCW 2000?
Yeah.
Best of luck to everybody. Ben, what were your thoughts on this match?
Well, Vampiro, the name, finally we're getting into some Halloween-themed shit for a Halloween-themed show.
Well, this guy... You're not wrong. I mean, fuck.
I was expecting, like, smashing pumpkins and or gravestones over people's heads and shit on this match.
Expecting Billy Corgan.
But it wasn't...
just check out NWA Power every Tuesday.
With 3 R's.
Yep.
But, that was... love that match, because it was just so... out there. It was just crazy. Like you said, with the fan jumping out and just headbutting Mike Awesome. Like, is that planned? I never know.
Nope.
These type of things.
Nope, that just happened.
So just shit like that is what made it great.
Brother caught it on the fly.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right, cool.
Great match.
Yeah, I fucking loved it. I mean, especially compared to everything else that we're gonna see here. And going back to things that you can just win. For the Mike Awesome is like the number one contender for the heavyweight title, and Vampiro just wants that. So it's like, I will fight you for that right to be. Not really beating anyone else of merit, just the guy that is next. Whom, from what they make it sound, Mike Awesome didn't beat anybody of merit to get this either. So,
no, but it didn't matter. Mike Awesome almost killed Vampiro. So, just to hang on to that shit.
So you're saying Vampiro had a hand in it at the end.
That's how smart Vampiro is.
Mike Awesome was an inside job.
I have no transition.
Speaking of inside jobs, that
was what I was going to do, but I was going to try to do something better. MIA in the back with a
Why are you going to try to do something better when WCW didn't try to do anything better?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm trying to make an effort on putting a show together because these fuckers didn't.
Yeah. They had that one good camera angle.
That was bouncing around at one point in time. The hard camera was bouncing because people were stomping. And
they're so excited.
All the shit we focus on is the cinematography overall.
That's right. That's really about it. Production value, boys and girls.
And this, speaking of cinematography.
Speaking of what?
I just had listen. I'm drinking a muscle milk while I do this podcast. My tongue is very fat right now.
Got a slippery tongue.
It's not slippery, just big. Blah, 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 blah. I got a Mike Awesome 10 tongue in my mouth.
Fuck.
MIA promo in the back, which they just have Chavo tag at the end of it for no reason. It just felt very, very weird. Also, the next match is very weird. Match number 8, Team Canada, consisting of Lance Storm and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, which I love that he joined Team Canada, taking on General Erection. And they come out with their respective flags, which we see on the table earlier on all the shots in from the go position. We get to hear the yakety sax music forever. And then we realize that this is like a handicap match for the Canadian title, which is actually the U.S. heavyweight title.
With the Canadian sticker on it.
The Canadian sticker on it. Ben, what are your thoughts on this match?
That was a great rescue story.
Okay,
so I know that's the first thing on your mind, so I get it.
Well, that was the first lucid, non-homophobic thought you've had on this podcast. I appreciate you for keeping it between the lines on that one.
I have my moments.
This is one of them.
This is your grace.
But this is grace. But speaking of moments, I know Zane Riley's favorite moment of this match has to be when the Tennessee two-step popped
Brother,
up.
let me tell you something. Best spot in the goddamn world, and everybody wants to shit on me for it. Sorry you don't like being over, man, Scout.
Well, that's the thing that I find is funny is Lance Storm, a guy who will criticize even the most minutest of things on television wrestling, but when he's suggested to run the Tennessee two-step, he's like, yeah, that tracks logically with the story.
I think it was like Hacksaw was like, it would be good, Lance, and Hacksaw was like, oh yeah, do it. And he's like, fuck, I can't argue with Hacksaw.
Yeah. And that's what he should realize when he sees a product that's put on TV, because you did something on TV that you thought was probably dumb and didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But you did it because you had respect for Hacksaw. But then when you see somebody else do stuff on TV,
like, fuck you guys.
Yeah. Like the time that he said that why the fuck is Sojo Bolt getting all this TV time? We're going to give it to the Motor City Machine Guns. I don't know. Maybe because it was her debut match.
Yeah.
And somebody told her to go 10 minutes.
Somebody was in charge of that, bub.
But then you got to put the blame on the actual performers, like you do other times.
Yeah,
people just doing their jobs, but then it's their fault.
Yeah, But it's quick to talk about how it's somebody's job to do those things when people he likes are under fire. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good old Lance.
Funny. Funny. That's the funny thing about criticism.
Lance.
But. If I could put in a little bit of criticism about this match, that I would have loved to see, because this is a big moment in Bill DeMott's career. This is probably one of the big.
He even says his own name in here.
Yeah, he wins the U.S. title, which has had a Canadian flag on it, and we're doing this whole patriotism thing.
Yay, America!
Why are we not tearing off the Canadian sticker
that's
on camera? Like that's what you want to see. That's what you wanted to see happen at the end of this match. And I was just waiting for it, and that just moment never came.
No, what you wanted to see was the reuniting with Major Guns.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what you wanted.
maybe 14-year-old me or 15-year-old me. Well, actually, it would have been 18-year-old me at this time.
All of them still count.
Yeah,
they still fall under this.
Ants are still wanting to see Major Guns, but not put a T-shirt on.
Yeah,
that was not what I wanted.
Come on.
That was not what I wanted.
It's not how I like my Major Guns to be.
I like my Major Guns on Pornhub. That's what I like my Major Guns. She's there. That's actually a fact. That's not me being a shitty man like Ben Stacy. That is me pointing out a fact.
Just pointing out my search history, everybody.
Just look up Tylene Buck.
BBW Cream Puffs, guys, all day.
Tylene Buck and Rebecca Love. I'm just saying. Give it a Google.
Gander.
Give it a gander. What we do get more of a gander of is match number 9.
18 fucking stings.
They got some promos in here, very uneventful, but it's basically Sting versus Jeff Jarrett. Versus Sting versus Sting versus Sting versus Sting versus Sting versus the man called Sting versus the Stinger versus NWO Sting,
the Red Black Sting
versus Lynn Denton dressed up as Sting versus WCW Power Plant Jobber dressed up as Sting versus Sting.
Good for these guys finding all these guys that are jacked like Sting was.
I know.
One of them I was like, is that Sting?
Yeah, a couple. I think one of them, there's one of them's like red-haired.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a stab. I think one of these Stings is Steve Armstrong.
Okay.
I don't ask me why I think it looks like an Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
We got Scott Armstrong who's one of the referees. Steve's knocking around. I'm sure it could use a little payday, could come in. I think he's the red-haired Sting that was out in the crowd. I think that's who that is. The one that rappelled down, I almost feel like that's Len Denton. That looks like what Len Denton looks like now, and Len Denton was and what he looked like during. And I know he was in WCW at the time because of like Piper's deal or whatever. But it also could have been a stuntman because he didn't know how to take the Scorpion Death Drop onto the table. So there is that issue. We also have the fake Sting that popped out from underneath the ring.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on this match, Ben? With all the Stings.
This is where I started getting hazy because I was like,
this?
Yes.
This I felt like this was the best. This is
the highlight of the show.
Absolutely.
I work early mornings, man, and I was up late watching this. So
well, I'm fucking sorry that Sting, the one thing you fucking remember from the time you could not keep your fucking interest.
Well, I'm just so used to this guy. I know his stuff.
Yeah.
No, but I thought that match was really fun. It just because of all the different random Stings. I was expecting the Sting.
We already did that. We already did that bit.
I know.
We
didn't bring up real Sting though.
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't bring up Tantric Sting.
Every breath you take, man.
Dun.
Love something you said it for. No.
He called that.
Highlight was the dude just dropping out of the sky. That was.
And the highlight was Jeff Jarrett calling that girl slap nuts. Thank you.
I like when
it's just a real gross promo that he cuts.
A thing that I like about this match, which is very inside baseball, when Ben showed up here and said he didn't see all of the match, I immediately turned on the WWE Network and made him watch the rest of this match.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And then I asked him at one point in time, like, oh, did you get to the part where Sting came down from the ceiling? And he goes, yeah. And then literally 30 seconds later, Sting came down from the ceiling on the screen and go, oh, so you didn't. You didn't see Sting come out from the ceiling. So I'm like, oh, you're just going to lie to me? Just going to lie to me?
But at least you stayed true to the lie until you weren't true.
Until I was caught.
Exactly. Good for you, man. Like, it's real good for you, man. Never give up.
I'm just saying,
never give up on yourself.
As being a guy who's a pro wrestler and a comedian and having to listen to promoters lie to me all the time, I can't tell you how fucking gratifying it is to catch somebody in a lie. Like, it is the thing that I fucking love the most in this world, and I wanted to put that as documentation out into the world. This has been filed away for exhibit for the listening audience. But for the viewing audience, we get to see match number 10, which is a WCW World Title match. And normally the World Title closes the show. But Booker T, being the stand-up guy that he is going to give Goldberg some more time to get up with them doctors, to get cleared so he can take on Chronic and continue on his career.
His streak,
which they restarted at this moment in time. But if he ended the streak, he'd be done, which it did happen on another show that we discussed on How Did This Get Booked. It's weird. So basically this whole fight that Booker T and this maneuvering that Booker T did is all for naught because Goldberg is going to be out in a few months anyways. But for now, Booker T is taking on batshit fucking crazy
Big Bad Booty Daddy,
fucking Scott Steiner at peak fucking crazy ass Scott Steiner.
with Deja out there, buddy.
I would ask Ben Stacy what he thought of this, but he didn't see any of it.
Non-applicable.
I wish I didn't see any of this. I forgot how amazing WCW singles Booker T was.
Yeah.
He's, holy shit, of all the people that could have been champion, the best one possible.
Oh, that's the thing that I think is always fucking shitty.
Yeah.
When people bring up that lawsuit, that discrimination lawsuit, they're like, oh, well, we put the belt on Booker because of that. I think that's the fucking shittiest thing I've ever fucking heard before.
Yeah, he earned that hand over fist.
Fucking 10 fucking fold.
God.
Like, fucking so good.
Because you remember a bunch of, you remember the fight in the grocery store, and you remember King Booker stuff, but, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Booker T was so goddamn good.
At this time, he's like the best thing fucking going.
Yeah.
Hands down. Having some of the best fucking match in the middle of the fucking shittiest shows of all time.
Having a fucking 13-minute match with this moron and making it look fucking good.
Yeah, this fucking psychopath who, can't even fucking hold the rope right for his fucking valet.
Yeah.
Who is just fucking telling people fuck off. Somebody looks at him fucking weird in the crowd, and Scott Steiner just fucking ogles a fan, and just in the middle of a world title match, he's got to control this crazy motherfucker, and still pulls out a great fucking match
because he's amazing.
Absolutely,
because he's fantastic,
and
he still has a beautiful flat top.
Fuck yeah, Booker T, WCW 2000, the fucking best, best thing in WCW at this time, hands down, bar none.
Better than all 7 Stings combined.
Fucking at me if you want, and I will debate you for another 6 fucking hours, because Booker T is worth the fucking effort to debate and fight for. I also, too, I love the fucking story of that Scott Steiner's out there, and he's beating up Booker in front of Stevie Ray. Yeah. And Stevie Ray's got this thing where I'm a commentator, but I can't, but this is my brother.
Is there a reason that he couldn't, was he just not wrestling anymore? Because Booker has had this singles run, or was he hurt?
I think he's hurt.
Yeah, and then just kind of out.
Yeah, and so he's doing this thing. So I think it adds a little bit of tension to it. But
when's he gonna hop up and do something?
But typical fucking Scott Steiner at this time, just goes over the edge. I'm dangerous. Fuck you. I don't give a shit, motherfucker. But not realizing hey, I'm making this guy in front of me look like shit, and I'm making my opponent look like shit. And if I beat this guy, then I've just beat a piece of shit. Yeah. There's a couple of guys right now who are like, oh, I'm a wrestling heel, and I just see them make their opponent look like shit. Yeah. So that way when they lose to him, it's like, oh, you lost a piece of shit because you made him look like a piece of shit this entire match. Mm-hmm. And be like, oh, I'm a fucking heel. Mm-hmm. No, not really. And I'm not saying all you got to do is just bump around, but don't fucking make your guy look fucking dumb. Yeah. So, and that's kind of what fucking crazy ass Scott Steiner's doing, but this is just peak
prime crazy ass Scott Steiner
putting fucking Charles Robinson in the trio woe for no goddamn reason. Just
wild card bitches.
Pretty much, yeah. He is basically Charlie Day screaming wild card jumping out of the van. That's what WCW 2000 Scott Steiner is.
Or 2001, or fucking any location of Scott Steiner 2019 King of Trios weekend.
Yeah,
it's everywhere.
Pick your pose, but. Last match.
Fucking thank Christ.
We have got to that point, and I actually made Ben watch this, so he's back in.
Yeah.
He actually has some data.
Tag me in.
Yep.
Bam! He's back in. He's back in on the podcast.
Watch 3 minutes of this goddamn episode.
Main event, match number 11. The team of Chronic, taking on Goldberg in a match that apparently was an elimination and we didn't fucking know was elimination.
Nope. And also another handicap match.
Another handicap match.
With tables.
Which turned out to be a fucking quick one, which at the fucking point of this fucking show, where you're like already almost 3 hours deep, you are very thankful that you get a 3-minute long main event.
Yeah.
And also, too, I'm pretty sure Brian Clark would have been a little more thankful if he would have realized to spray on his spray tanner before he put his gear on. Because clearly, you can see the lines right around where he's standing. Like, he just put his gear on. I'm like, all right, now spray me with it. And they're like, excuse me?
That's not how this works.
That's not, you're supposed to be...
Should have happened yesterday.
You're supposed to be naked in the spray or put the little sock on. Or
Nah, got me.
No.
Go.
Okay, all right, no problem. It's whatever.
Cool, man.
Brian Clark, okay. Cool. What were your thoughts on this main event, Ben Stacy?
Don't phone it the fuck in. You watched it while I walked in here. I watched it with you.
I just love that the referee gave Goldberg plenty of time to like get up. Just like
well, the doctors have given plenty of time to look over him, and then Doug Diller just got to have all this time to go get him out of his dressing room and guide him to the
just
ring.
To fucking go. Oh yeah, he good.
But every time he'd like whisper something to him and he'd just start doing this, but then he'd like lift the arm up. Just see it go limp. And then, all right, fuck it.
All right, Goldberg, kick out now.
He's the last WCW hero to come out to the ring. Like, didn't you hear Tony Schiavone call him WCW hero?
Yeah.
You got to give your heroes enough time to make the comeback, Ben Stacy.
Tony Schiavone obviously wasn't paying attention to Booker T.
He should have.
Last WCW hero in my book.
Well, 2000 Tony Schiavone. He wasn't paying attention too much at all. He didn't give a fuck at this time.
Kind of like 2019 Tony Schiavone. But I fucking love him.
Oh, I think he pays attention a lot.
Tony Schiavone is the best now.
Yes, he is. He's actually saying the things that were in his mind in the year 2000.
Yeah.
That's what I fucking love about him now.
God damn it, this is stupid.
Yeah. He'll say shit and then blame it on JR. I didn't say shit on live television. That was JR.
Sure did.
Ben, what are your overall thoughts of this entire pay-per-view?
Of this entire
Man, we're just going to skip the whole fucking match. We ain't even going to talk about it.
What more do you want to fucking say about it? What more do you want to fucking say about it?
My only issue is that they call Brian Adams Brian Clark.
I did already in the middle of this.
So I don't want to know why, like, couldn't they just both be like, wouldn't it be even funnier if Chronic was Brian Adams and Brian Adams?
Great.
I'd be fucking on board with that one.
I'm on board with it too.
But spelled differently, one with an I, one with a Y. That's how you tell them apart. But that's it. That's all I got.
Okay, well, I'm glad we stopped the entire train so you can get that in.
Goldberg won 0-14 or 14-0. So I mean, the streak's still alive. We just let that one go.
I know. So because he's not working house shows at this point, so we can't rack up that ridiculous number we did before. So
was he legit hurt there at the end? Because he looked like shit.
Well, I mean, you saw the video of him fucking headbutting the pole.
In that pole, yeah.
Like, and he fucking, I guarantee dumbass fucking Goldberg.
Concussed himself.
Yeah, like, fucking did that. Because he's like, I gotta make it look real.
Yeah.
I guarantee that motherfucker did it like that.
He ruined Bret Hart's career and go fuck himself.
Listen, we still don't know if he's we don't know. We don't know. As we've said before, me and Zane Riley gave Goldberg a ride from the airport to the hotel, and the entire time we went from moments of thinking that Goldberg is the coolest motherfucker on the planet to the biggest fucking asshole we've ever met before in the entire careers of
multiple times.
Multiple times. We switched back and forth. And the thing is, too, you and I recognized every time that happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a situation where he said something that kind of offended me, but you were okay with. It was like, no, they were hard lefts, hard rights. We're like, whoa, Goldberg's an awesome dude. Wait, what the fuck did you just say?
Where'd this Goldberg come from?
You piece of shit. Oh, fuck, you are a good guy.
Cool, man.
What the fuck is wrong with you, Bill?
Fucking Bill.
Fucking Billy Boy. Ah, goddamn, you're right.
Yeah, you did beat up cameramen in Japan with Scott Steiner. That is cool.
Yeah. I like that should be the dickish thing, but we're like, no, that's cool as shit.
Rock on, man.
We're back in on you, man. Yeah. For sure.
I don't give a fuck about your jiu-jitsu.
So yeah.
It's Bill Goldberg times.
Real Goldberg times.
If you want a fun Bill Goldberg time right now, though, look at the video of him running into Matt Riddle at like SummerSlam or whatever, where they have that awkward confrontation in the backstage area where he's like, "Don't call me bro. I'll see you soon." Okay, bro. You'll get yours. All right, bro. I know. It's so good.
I love it. What did you love about this pay-per-view, Ben?
What I loved about it.
So I didn't have to watch it all.
Yeah.
But I still got to be on a podcast all about it.
Uh-huh.
No, but seriously, I just like that wrestling has a story behind. Always has like a story with every match, and it's an odd thing for a sport, but I don't know what else. From what you guys told me, this is probably a bad match to start with me on.
What, did you think it was fucking good?
Not really, not at all. I thought it was shit. For the most part, it had its moments, though.
Oh, did you see Sting fall from the ceiling right here? Like, did you see him come down from the ceiling?
Which was your favorite Sting?
Yeah.
Which was my favorite Sting? The one that came from the floor, and then the one that came from the sky.
In order. Heaven and hell. It was a metaphor.
Yeah, it was a great metaphor.
Right.
But yeah, still not a fan.
So I was going to say, did we switch over? Are
Right,
you
cool.
a fan of wrestling now?
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, don't go changing. Hey, except for maybe all the homophobia. Maybe change that. Maybe they change that.
2019, nobody knows who they are anymore. If that's what you're standing on, I mean.
It helps I live with a transgender fella, so.
Wait, what? You live?
Yeah.
Okay.
I live with a transgender fella.
Okay.
So.
Wait, hold on. Never mind. I'm not going to unpack this.
Move on. Zane, what are your thoughts on Halloween Havoc?
God, don't watch this, guys.
Yeah, don't fucking
watch it, man.
Like, this is what this podcast is for. Like,
look up pictures of Mike Awesome's hair and go ahead and call it.
Yeah.
Just look up that.
That's why we do this fucking podcast, so you don't have to fucking watch these shows.
Yeah.
We fucking make all the jokes about it, and we discuss it in detail enough that you don't need to fucking watch this shit. This is one of the worst things we have ever had to watch for the show.
So if you'd like to Venmo us or PayPal us money to, that you didn't have to watch this, we'll accept it.
Absolutely. But what you can do is support us anywhere and everywhere. Zane, this is coming out next Thursday. I don't know if you've got anything going on.
You and I will be making the travels to Hubert, North Carolina.
Okay, we're doing that together.
We are going to be there together.
Okay, cool.
It's going to be PWF presents 7 Scary Matches to Watch in the Dark. It's our Halloween show.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a completely Halloween-based, non-canonical show. People are going to dress up and we're going to have Macho Man versus Steamboat in a match. We're going to have Cops and Robbers. We're just going to have all kinds of crazy stuff. The guys that we usually use on our roster, but dressed up to have a good time. Except for one match, and that'll be the match that Jake Manning is in. Be the only match that happens canonically.
And you told me about this idea months ago, and you asked if I'd be available on this date like months ago. So you've had this thing brewing and cooking. So this has been a brainchild. You've put a lot of time and thought and energy in this, more so than what was put into WCW 2000. So
I've got this really good camera angle idea. I mean, we don't really record shit, but I got this camera angle idea with some doctors coming up.
Yeah, so like, if you've listened to this entire show and you had to go through watching WCW Halloween Havoc 2000, once you see something a little bit more interesting, and especially if you live on the coast of North Carolina, go check out.
Or if you have independent wrestling TV,
yes,
we are on that, and it will be free.
Check
so
it out.
it'll probably be out in about November. I think we're usually a couple weeks behind.
Okay. Ben, do you have anything coming up? Mostly, specifically in the month of November. This will be probably
in November. Nothing planned so far in November. But this October 30th, I will be performing a stand-up at a Premium Pub on Old Plainville Road.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I will be part of the Charlotte Comedy Zone's Halloween show, the Ghost of Comics Past.
Okay, which comic are you doing?
I have not decided yet.
Okay.
I'm currently just helping with production, but...
well, hopefully you do a little bit more work on that show than the one you did on this one.
Jeff Foxworthy. They're Jeff Foxworthy?
Oh, yeah, Jeff Foxworthy. That'd be a good one for you. Also, do coming up in November, I have a lot of FSCW dates.
Yes.
I think Zane may be at the Louisville one, may not be at the Louisville.
Maybe not.
I will definitely be at GalaxyCon in Minneapolis and Louisville, and of course FFCW will be at both of those. Also, we have WrestleCade coming up. Also, too, in Dayton, Ohio, Wrestling Revolver, November 16th, and then West Virginia Championship Wrestling on the 17th. Don't give me the evil eye on that, okay? I appreciate that very much. Also, too, I've got All Organic November 12th in Charlotte, North Carolina. But as always, just follow me on social media. But if you want to get at me and yell at me, because you had to watch WCW Halloween Havoc 2000, or if you watched 3/4 of it like Ben Stacy did and you still want to yell at me, go ahead and do so on Instagram and Twitter at ManScoutManning. If we mess something up or you want to email me, just email me at manscoutmanning@yahoo.com. Make sure you go to sixsquirrelstudio.com. Don will make your podcast sound really good for all your podcast needs. But make sure you check out howdidthisgetbooked.com for more information about upcoming shows, because I've been doing a little bit better job keeping that up to date, letting people know what we're going to be discussing next, and actually what we're discussing next, which is the next episode we're going to record right after this, which is
worse than this.
Debatable. Is the Baywatch episode with John Gonzalez, because we just talked about John Gonzalez on 10 Bell Pod, so kind of tied it all in right there. Kind of a collaborative effort, because Nicolessa is sitting at the top of the poll for Apple Podcast reviews. Gabriel Kidd is at the top of the poll for Stitcher. So make sure you get out there and leave those reviews. You could just literally copy and paste 100 times and you'll get a free t-shirt. As long as you DM me your mailing address and your shirt size, I will get that out to you, no problem. But please, if you were leaving reviews, make sure you also hit the subscribe button on Apple Podcasts, on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify. Once again, if you switched over to Spotify, make sure you take a screen cap. I want people to know that we're on Spotify as well. Stitcher, YouTube, like I said, all the social media platforms, all the podcasting platforms. We are there, and we are that, and this is that. The end of this podcast. Another edition of How Did This Get Booked?
Thank you very much.